Happy Thursday, everyone. We got a fun workout coming your way today. It's a nice little chipper style, descending reps, so it's gonna be a good time. Before we get to that, let's talk about our work set today. We have a planted down dog, 3 to 5, quad plank of 20 seconds, floor pike hold of 10 to 30 seconds, prone shoulder raise 6 to 10 alternating reps. So we're gonna take some time just to show that shoulder some love, get those cores ready to go, fire things up, and get things prepped. 2 rounds of that, we'll move down to the bottom piece. We're going to tackle our hamstrings. We're going to start working a little bit of bridge stability work, some hamstring love, bridge pullback with 3 to 10 seconds, single leg bridge march for 20 seconds, and then a weighted dead bug for 6 to 10 reps, alternating back and forth with some subtle pauses per side in that weighted dead bug. You have 2 rounds of that, and then we're going to move into the next phase, which is a humeral glide to knee push-up, 3 to 5, floor facing angel, 3 at 5 seconds, arch hold for 10 seconds, and arch up for 20 seconds for 2 rounds. So getting the body ready just piece by piece, really firing things up to make sure everything is ready for action for what's to come. So what we have for you guys today is kind of a funky little work set. We have 30 bridge pullovers. Then we're going to move into a burpee of 30 reps, and then dumbbell deadlift for 15 reps. So that could be a single dumbbell, double dumbbell, depending what you have access to. We're looking at 15 total reps, so we'll talk about that too as we get into our workout demos. Once we're done that first little phase, we're going to do 15 bridge pullovers, 15 burpees, 15 dumbbell deadlifts, and then moving back into our bridge pullover for 10, burpee for 10, and dumbbell deadlift for 15. So our dumbbell deadlift stays constant throughout the entire process of the workout, and then our work set that goes down is that bridge pullover and burpee. So those 2 descend, the deadlift stays the same. Once you're done your last set of deadlifts, you're done. So it's gonna be a good time, good chance to work on some hip work, some more hinging work this week, and just have a good old time taking her down. So let's get you prepped, warmed up, and ready to take her down. Let's get those bodies ready to go. Let's get those feet under the hips. We'll take the arms up big and tall. We're gonna reach over to one side. We're gonna come back up and over to the other side. Big reach through those arms. We're gonna come back up, give ourselves a little shrug. And we'll come down with the arms all the way down to the floor, touching those toes. We'll walk up the shins. We'll come down, frame a foot, step it back into your lizard. We're gonna lock that foot down in the front with that inside hand. So strong legs. We're gonna turn the torso to the hand. We'll come back to center. Lower the back knee, keeping the hip square. And then press the hip, back to center. Press the hip, back to center, and press the hip, back to center. We'll straighten out the leg, turn the torso, come back through, plant the hand, step the foot back into our down dog and set it on shoulders. We'll press a foot, come back to center, into our plank, step the other foot up. We'll lock that foot in place, lock those legs, turn, come back to center, lower the knee, press, come back to center, press, back to center, and press, back to center. Straightening out the leg, we'll turn the torso, come back to center, plant the hand, step back into our down dog again, setting up that position as we walk those heels a couple times, just waking up those ankles. Come back into our plank, nice and strong. Tiptoe the feet up. Get a nice roll up of the body, big stretch, big reach, and a little reach. We'll move the arms down. Get you guys fired up. We'll get you guys ready to go. So pause the video if you'd like to take down a little bit more kind of lower body, upper body work for yourself. Take that time to give yourself that love that you need. And we're gonna get ourselves moving to that first phase, which is gonna get the shoulders and cores fired up and ready for action. Our first phase of work today is gonna focus on opening up that overhead. We're gonna work our plank to down dog. So we're gonna get ourselves set up in our plank, hands outside the shoulders, pushing through those arms, nice and set through the core. We're gonna keep that shoulder position as we pull the hips back and up into our down dog. So we're reaching those hips high to get that nice open upper back, and then we pull into that plank. So taking our time to reset the core position and the shoulders, we pull back into those hips, keeping those armpits pointing towards the toes, that nice open upper back, and then just flow back into the plank as we push through those arms. So we're always focusing on that good active shoulder position as we try and keep that neck position. You don't want to lose that and shrug. You want to keep that shoulder down and set as we're working through that range of motion for the plank to down dog. Remember to recheck that position in each plank before we go into the down dog, because it's going to give you a better chance of maintaining that position as you flow into the next rep. Our next movement, comes into our tabletop position. We're going to work our quad plank. So our hands, same position as for our plank. Our toes curl under, and my knees are under my hips with space. I'm going to pull my ribs in, push my shoulders up a bit, so I'm just keeping that body nice and flat. And I'm going to pull my knees off the ground, pulling my hands and feet together. They're not actually going to come together, but I'm going to feel that engagement through the midsection. I'm pulling those hands and feet together as I maintain that nice flat core position and back position. So we're just coming up about an inch or two just to turn ourselves into that nice little quad plank position. You're going to feel a little bit of shaking going on in the midsection. That's okay. We have 20 seconds in this position. So if you feel your shoulders start to disengage, your core disengage, come out of it. Bank some time, or just bank what you can in that good quality quad plank to make sure we're banking that good engagement. Our next exercise still stems from that same position, except we're going to bring our knees together. So our knees come together. My hands are in the same spot, wide fingers. I set the shoulders and core before I move into the next phase of this. And I'm going to stack the shoulders over the hands as I straighten the legs, pushing my shoulders into the floor. So pushing the floor away with my hands. That brings my shoulders close to my ears. My armpits point towards my toes, and my legs are as straight as I can make them. So I'm focusing on that pressure down into the floor, keeping this strong shoulder position as I press into the ground the entire time. So I'm trying to stabilize that overhead and simulate that handstand position. So this is a great opportunity to work on engagement that we need in our full handstand variations. You're going to hold anywhere from 10 to 30 seconds, and like the quad plank, I want you to make sure we're banking engaged time. So if those shoulders start to disengage, or our core starts to disengage, come out of it. Take a moment, reset up, go back in, bank more time, or take that time frame that you can maintain engaged with. Our last movement is a nice handstand drill that will take place on the floor. So we're going to get ourselves on the ground. Arms are going to go to the front. Toes are together. I'm going to press the toes into the floor, squeezing my glutes and ribs together, pushing my armpits down towards the floor, and pressing those hands into the ground. I'm going to lift my right arm, keeping my armpit down towards the floor, and then I'm going to push my hand into the ground and lift my left arm. So I'm going to alternate back and forth, maintaining that square body, that engaged position, and I'm not going to worry so much about how high my arm gets. Over time, you'll find more range. But in the beginning, I really want you to focus your attention on maintaining this structure, stable structure from neck down to the toes. So we don't want to break through the ribs as we lift our arm. So we find that we can lift our fingers off the floor like an inch, and then all of a sudden I try and go more and my stomach starts to go, whoop. We want to stop before that happens. So take your time there, really kind of work on that maintaining of the core, and let the shoulder be kind of a byproduct of that position. Okay, so over time, you'll get a little bit easier and you'll get stronger in that position. As a quick recap, we have a plank to down dog for 3 to 5 reps, quad plank for 20 seconds, floor pike hold for 10 to 30 seconds, prone shoulder raise 6 to 10 alternating for 2 rounds. So we got a nice chunk of work there, generate some heat on that internal body position, and really work on waking up those shoulders a bit. Pause the video, take that down. We're going to lay on the floor for a little while. We're going to work on a little bit of core and hamstring engagement. Our next phase of work is going to take place on the floor. And we're going to work on waking up our hamstrings, all right, and our core a little bit. So we're going to get set up with our feet just outside the fingers. We're going to get started with a bridge pullback, so just really contracting through those hamstrings. So what we're going to do is we're going to press our hands into the floor just a bit for stability, and that's just going to help open up the chest. We're not pressing into the floor with our hands to try and get higher up with the body. We're just using this as a stability tool for the upper back. Now we're going to pull the sternum and ribs together, the sternum and belly button together. As we push down through our feet, we're going to lift into that bridge. We're going to shift the weight to the balls of the feet, and we're going to pull the heels back towards the glutes. Now again, it doesn't look like I'm doing much, but I can really feel those hamstrings kick on and turn on when I pull those heels back, because they don't move, because the feet are connected to the floor. So as I pull those heels back towards the glutes, my hamstrings kick on and get that nice contraction, and that's what we're after. We're looking at 3 reps at 10-second contractions. If you can't hold it for 10 seconds without cramping, build to where you can and then come out of it. I don't want those hamstrings to cramp up and lock up on you, so take your time, build that capacity. Now my other last point of this is remembering that when we shift our weight to the balls of the feet, we're not pushing into the toes, we're just shifting our weight forward, which lessens the weight in the heels. So more of the weight goes into the balls of the feet so that I can pull my feet back efficiently. Now we'll come out of that rep and we're going to move back into another bridge, but this bridge is a little different. We're going to reach our arms up overhead, and you can hold a dumbbell here if you'd like, but we're going to reach our shoulders up to the ceiling. We're going to pull the ribs and hips together, push through the feet into that nice bridge position, and then we're going to walk those feet up one at a time in that single leg bridge march. So we're always lifting the arms towards the ceiling, and we're just walking the feet back and forth at a nice gentle pace. Now the time under tension is what we're after here, not fast reps. So the nice, smooth, slow pace with those bridges and with those feet will pay off more than trying to go fast with our feet. So time under tension, stability under that slightly kind of unbalanced position is what we're looking for. So take your time. You have 20 seconds just to march, so there's no a lot of reps here, so I just want you to work on balance, work on positioning. Our last exercise involves the dumbbell. So we can hold that dumbbell over the chest. You can also do this without a dumbbell, but we can set those ribs so the low back is in contact with the floor. Our feet are going to come up to our 90 degree, and from here we have a choice of either a bent knee or a straight leg, and we're going to work on extending that leg out or extending it partial and touching down with that bent knee. We're going to work that back and forth for 6 to 10 reps. Now the other option we have is taking this dumbbell and going slightly back, depending on where you feel comfortable with that shoulder. So this is going to put a little bit more pressure on the core, the shoulder, and the lats as we stabilize and work on touching down with that good control. So again, like the single leg bridge march, you want to think about control, time under tension. So not worrying about trying to go super fast with these 6 reps, perhaps pausing for a brief moment at the extended position, pausing for a moment at that stacked 90-90 position, so we can really focus on the engagement and good quality reps. As a quick little recap for that one, we have a bridge pullback for 3 at 10 seconds, single leg bridge march for 20 seconds of just nice smooth marching back and forth, weighted dead bug for 6 to 10 alternating reps. We take that down for 2 rounds, and then we move into our next phase, which is going to be a little bit more upper body and more core work. So pause the video, prime up those hamstrings and glutes, get that body ready, because we're coming at you with a little bit more shoulder love. Our last prep phase for this work set is going to again take place on the floor. It's going to be a little bit of shoulder prep and a lot of core work. So let's prime ourselves up a little bit. We're going to start on the ground. We're going to work our Humeral glide to push-up. So my hands are going to be beside my chest, just outside my shoulders with those wide fingers. My elbow stacked over top of my hands, and I'm going to get myself set and prepped in this nice solid bottom push-up position. I'm going to pull my shoulders forward in that humeral glide to where we don't want them in the push-up, and then I'm going to pull my shoulders back to where I do, stacking and setting. I'll pull my ribs and hips in, and then I'll push through those arms, setting into that knee plank. So here in this knee plank, I want to think about those ribs staying in, shoulders nice and active, and then I'm going to lower forward and down, keeping those elbows at a nice 45 as I lower into my tripod. And then I'll relax and I'll reset that position. So we'll get that humeral glide again, shoulders forward, shoulders back and set, ribs, hips pull in, push into that good push-up position, that good knee plank, and then slowly lower down into that floor position. Trying to make the chest touch first as I find that nice tripod position. Right after that, I'm going to move into my floor-facing angel. So I have my floor-facing angel, and if you'd like to use the humeral glide again, you can. I like to do this as well. Working that shoulder forward, working the pull back, setting the ribs and hips, and then I squeeze my shoulders together, lifting the elbows, pulling those arms back, holding that position, and then lowering down and relaxing. So if you'd like to use that humeral glide before you do each rep, I highly endorse it, because what that's going to do is it's going to give you a chance to feel that place where we don't want the shoulder to dump forward. Plus it gives you a little stretch of the trap. And then it gives you a chance to set that for each rep so that we can really execute that floor-facing angel well as we work through each rep. So it's a nice chunk of work right there, nice little combo. If you'd like to alternate between the two, please do so. If you want to do a rep of the humeral glide to knee push-up, then do a floor-facing angel, and go back and forth, not a bad idea as well, because it'll give you that chance to really work on the press and then work on opening up through the pecs in that floor-facing angel hold. Our last two movements are the arch hold and arch up dynamic. So we're going to hold a static hold for 10 seconds and then move right into some arch ups. So there's a couple different ways you can do this. We can do this as a double hand, double foot. So toes together, arms out straight. I inhale for length, reaching, keeping everything super straight and long. And I'll hold for 10 seconds. And then I'll lower and just move right into my dynamic arch ups for 20 seconds, thinking about lengthening out my body. Or I can do 5 to 10 seconds on one side, 5 to 10 seconds on the other side, and then move right into a dynamic alternating arch up for 20 seconds. So I can kind of play around with a combo of those. If you're comfortable doing the hold with a double, but the dynamic you want to do a single, you can do that as well, or vice versa. You can hold with the single, move into the dynamic with the double. It's up to you. We're just looking at focusing on that length of body from finger to toe, and really extend that body's length as we engage the back half of the body in that extension position. So take your time with those, kind of play around, focus on that length. That's our prime focus. Length equals height in our arch up, so we want to make sure that we're good to go there. As a quick recap, we have a humeral glide to knee push-up for 3 to 5 reps, floor-facing angel, 3 to 5 seconds, arch hold of 10 seconds, and an arch up of 20 seconds in the dynamic fashion. 2 rounds of that. We're going to move into our practice round to give you guys a chance to tackle the movements in the workout. So stay tuned. We're going to walk you through those cool little movements. All right, we've made it to the workout. We have 3 movements in this workout. We haven't really done any of them yet in the work set. We've done some bridges, but we haven't done the bridge pullover. So we get to hybrid up these 2 movements. Burpee as well. We've done a couple things like the burpee to prime the position, but we haven't done a full burpee yet. And the deadlift, well, we haven't done any deadlifts yet, but we have primed our body and get ready for that movement. So let's start with the bridge pullover. The bridge pullover is a pullover and bridge combined. So our dumbbell's going to be pretty close to the body. We're going to get ourselves set up, ready to bridge. My dumbbell is going to be set over top of my chest in this nice stacked position with slightly soft elbows. My sternum and my belly button are going to come together slightly so I can feel that nice engagement through the ribs. And I'm going to push my feet into the floor into that bridge. I'm going to hold this bridge static as I push my feet into the floor. I'm going to take the dumbbell back and down overhead into that pullover. I'm going to work that pullover nice and steady for 30 reps. You can break these up, you can do whatever you need to do, but we're going to work on 30 good strong reps, holding the bridge static as the upper body is dynamic. So keeping in mind too, as we work through that pullover, I like to think about pressing into the dumbbell as I lower it down, and that just keeps a good steady engagement on the dumbbell the entire time of going through the movement. It really helps set the lats and the engagement through the body so we can use those pecs to work that pullover. Take your time with those. The pullover is not a fast movement. We want to make sure we're executing it well and building that strength. This is really going to depend loading on your comfort level with that pullover. So you can definitely have two different weights for the pullover or the deadlift if you have access to more loading. The heavier, of course, will be the deadlift. So check it in, listen, work to your range of motion. Our next exercise in the workout is our burpee, and we have two variations of the burpee. We have the non-push-up variation, and we have the full burpee. So the full burpee, we want to embrace the ideas and points of performance we talked about in our humeral glide to knee push-up drill. So we want to try and embrace those as we go through. Full burpee, we come down, we pop down, hit the floor, pop up, nice little clap. Or we come down, hands, we step lower, push, step up, and clap. Or any combination of those two. So jumping back, stepping in, stepping back, jumping in. Whatever you want. Keeping in mind our primary focus is that good, solid rib position and stacking that elbow over top of the wrist, keeping that nice stable shoulder structure as we do that push-up portion of the burpee. So primary focus, stacked elbow, tight midsection. Now our squat thrust is a non-push-up variation. So we come down with the hands, stack those shoulders, jump into our plank, and pop up. Or stack those shoulders, step, step, or any combination of those two. Primary focus here, obviously the elbow is not going to be stacked over the wrist in that down position, but we want to think about our shoulder staying over top of the wrist the entire time. So basically from neck to waist, we are one stable structure, not moving at all. The legs do the movement as we start to shift in and out, but the upper body stays completely static. So play with that, pick and choose which one you want to play with depending on where you're at with that movement. You can even mix and match if you're starting to add burpees into your squat thrust volume. Kind of do maybe 5 full burpees, 10 squat thrusts, 5 burpees, 10 squat thrusts, and kind of mix and match that movement in there to start building your volume in the full burpee. Last but not least, we have our deadlift. And we can take this down one of two ways. We have one dumbbell, or we have two. If we have two, obviously you'll hold the dumbbell in the more conventional sense to the outside. If we have a single, we can work with sumo or a single arm conventional. If we're using a single arm, we need to make sure that we are just doing 15 reps or 16 total reps if you want to balance it out. But I'm good with half and half throughout the arms. So break up the work, make sure you're sharing that workload between the two sides. Regardless of doing double or single, the movement is the same. So that hinge pattern is identical regardless of how we take it down. We set our ribs and glutes, we take the hips back into that good hinge position to the knee, and then we lower ourselves down, maintaining that angle. We do have to get a little deeper if we're using a single dumbbell, and then we stand tall, pushing through those legs, maintaining that good back position. Now after that first rep, you can take it down to wherever you feel comfortable to maintain the back position. The back position is our primary focus, maintaining that weight through the midfoot, but again, focusing on keeping that good, strong back position throughout both halves of the movement. Our knees are slightly out, regardless of being to the outside or sumo. Our knees are pressing out so they track the toes the entire time. But the feet are a really good piece to listen to and focus on, because if you feel yourself drifting into your toes, you know you're starting to lose some balance, or you're going to be off position when you go to press. So you might lose position in your back position if you're shifting into your toes. So focus on that foot. Weight should be right where those laces are, right just in front of the ankle bone. Trying to stay as centered and square as we can, keeping those big toes down. Quick recap on the workout. We have 30 bridge pullovers for 30 reps. We have 30 burpees or squat thrusts, 15 dumbbell deadlifts, or if you're using a single, I'm totally down on 16, half and half. If you're doing a bridge pullover, the next phase is 15 bridge pullovers, 15 burpees, 15 deadlifts, 10 pullovers, 10 burpees, 15 deadlifts. So the bridge pullover and the burpee go down in reps, the deadlift stays the same across the board. Have fun with this one, you guys. Remember, if you'd like and have access to, you can use 2 different loads for the pullover and the deadlift. Have fun with it, enjoy, and let's enjoy a good old Thursday. As always, work for quality, have fun. We'll see you tomorrow to close out the week. We got a super special workout coming up your way tomorrow. So let's have some fun, prep ourselves up, and enjoy. Bye, you guys.